So I don't usually do contentious videos, and slightly hesitant to do this one, more because this thing I'm going to talk about is quite nuanced and there's different expressions of it. It's probably not quite the right word, but the way it could be perceived and received is quite different depending on experience and things like that. It's not a very sexy topic, but it's something I've really been thinking about recently, is this thing of responsibility. We all know the word, we probably all use the word. If you've got children, or you work in education or manage people, probably always not saying but communicating, please take responsibility for your actions, your work, your output. As a personal trainer and coach, in a sense, our main job is empowering people to take responsibility. That might be choices with food, with exercise, mindset, self-esteem, not going on the scales every day and looking for progress in different ways. And I think the reason responsibility has kind of been highlighted to me is that we're all really busy people, and sometimes it's easy to kind of drop the ball or let ourselves get into a place where we're too tired, and when you get to that point, it's easy to then start pointing the finger externally. But realising more and more that things like energy, attitude, emotions, and that's not to say to disregard emotions at all, it's to say to recognise them, but take responsibility for them. Take responsibility for these things. You know, a lot of things come down to taking responsibility for yourself and the choices that you make. Sometimes we make a short-term choice for something good, which actually long-term is going to cause a little bit more pain. You know, simple one. Staying in bed a little bit longer in the morning is then going to have the pain of maybe rushing around. Overindulging on the weekend is then potentially going to mean Monday's not great, and if you're into your training, then maybe the training session on a Monday or Tuesday isn't great. Then sometimes we take responsibility, and the short-term pain, thinking about meals in advance, food prepping, those sorts of things. You know, I'm just using coaching and personal training examples. Short-term pain, as in got to do something, take responsibility. Long-term moves you more towards your goals. And it was my dad who used to say, he had 3 R's: respect yourself, respect others, and take responsibility. And yeah, I think he kind of came to that later in life, but it's a strong one. It's a good foundation, and you know, taking too much responsibility, over emphasising that, you know, you end up maybe being a bit of a control freak, or you know, kind of taking on too much and overloading. But that's also a choice. It's also your responsibility to recognise that. Some of this stuff only takes practice and experience, but if each individual stepped up their responsibility game, then that would actually have a positive impact in so many areas. You know, as we talked about, health and fitness, work, relationships, and yeah, it's just a really big one that I think it's easy to kind of overlook, and we end up pointing the finger externally at what someone else should have done, or what someone else could have done, or you know, it's the boss's fault if the kids weren't like this. Yeah, learn it for ourselves, help others to recognise it and grow in it. You know, like I say, if you've got children, work in education, or a boss, employer, to have responsibility for other people. And I think actually a lot of life runs a lot better.